Is it live? Yeah. What's up, everybody? Iggy here. So, welcome to the Mind of Iggy. Um, just to let you guys know, I'm doing pretty good. Hanging out, just doing my thing, just riding the wave like everybody. Today, I'm making. They're rough right now, but these are conch shell horns that I'm making. I'll be selling them later on. There's different styles, different kinds. I already just sawed off the tips. I gotta work on them a little bit. I've got some in the basement that I already finished. I'll play with you sometime. Just another one. They're still rough, so I can't really play these, but because I'm not finished with them. But these are conch shell horns, and these are really nice to have. They they're musical instruments that a lot of indigenous cultures use. Like in my country, in Peru, the Polynesians, the Hawaii, different islands in that region would make sense because it's specific. But wanted to just kind of talk a little bit because I know I haven't been on here in a while, on the sense of sharing my thoughts. But there's a lot to share. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot happening, and quite frankly, where do you start? How do you begin? It's a very touchy-feely situation right now. For a lot of us, we're just bearing witness, like someone posted on one of my website, on one of my comments, that we're here to bear witness to the things that are happening around the world right now. And not all of us in agreement with everything that's happening. And quite frankly, it's a little confusing, especially when we don't understand what's happening in the world. And what I'm talking about is the situation with Israel and Palestine, Hamas, and Hezbollah and all that. It's a hot topic. It's a hot button for everybody. Everybody is either pro or against, or indifferent, or just bearing witness to what's happening, and not really taking a stand. And I understand why people wouldn't take a stand, because it's we live in this culture where we like to immediately just erase or counsel people for having a different opinion than ours, or something that doesn't resonate with us. And so you could say the right thing or the wrong thing depending who you're with, and you can alienate and unfriend and not be connected to the people that you were connected with before, just because of a political view. Now, my particular stance on this is, it's really early to see what's happening, but you can't help but feel the crux of the pain that the world's feeling, and on both sides. I'm talking about both sides, because this isn't a one-sided affair. As much as people want to make it a one-sided affair, it's not a one-sided affair. Some of us want to believe that it's a one-sided affair, and it's not. It's not a one-sided affair, because there's too much history that goes back into this. There's too much religious background that goes back into this. And if you're not ept into it, you don't understand. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not ept on this. I only know what my feelings and emotions tell me, and what the media bombards me and blasts me with and shows me every single day and every single moment. We fought World War One, we fought World War Two, and we watched the atrocities of what war brings. War doesn't bring anything but bloodshed and tears. It doesn't matter if you're the good guy or the bad guy, depending who you are. Somebody's going to be the good guy or the bad guy. So if we're here in the West, we have a different opinion, a different view of how we see the things and how we feel about the things, and how we're feeling or expressing it. I haven't seen a whole lot on Facebook, and I understand why, because it's a hot topic, and it's very volatile to even say I'm this way or that way. If you choose and you're that way, no problem, you're that way. But we're in a place of some very dangerous ground. This isn't a new situation. This isn't new. This has happened before. I remember when I was a kid, all the stuff that was happening with Palestine and Israel, and those things didn't last very long. This one seems like it's going to last a little bit longer. The loss of life on both sides is just It's terrible because the persons who pay the price are always the civilians, always the people. It's never, the politicians sit in their cozy little rooms and their cozy little war rooms, and, they give the orders to young people to do and defend. And, and the people who suffer are going to be the ones who are the weaker, the ones who can't defend themselves. And that's always going to be the issue. And that's where we're at. Israel was attacked viciously. Palestine is being bombarded in a way that's unprecedented that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that before. So for me, it's kind of like, wow, this is like really powerful stuff that I'm witnessing alongside with you guys. That's if you're watching it. It's hard to be positive. It's hard to be in a frame of mind to say, oh my God, yeah, the world, oh yeah, we're love, we're peace. And then you watch all this stuff happening and all the verbiage and all the decisions that our government has to make and our politicians have to decide, and the politicians of the other world and the people who are suffering. But the thing is, I can't say that the people should be hurt on both sides. I have to stand like this. Israelis or Palestinians, I don't believe that any side should be hurt because of to gain political gains. Plus, we are talking about a lot of historical stuff here. This is something that's very historical, very old, 2,000 years. This is something that's been going on for a long time. This isn't something that we can just fix in one day. This is something that has to be fixed over time. All parties have to be involved in this, but when all parties are at each other's throat, it's going to be hard. And the people who are going to suffer are going to be the civilians. Those are going to be the ones with casualties. Those are the ones who are going to hurt the most. And those are the ones that pain me because I watch these videos of little kids and parents carrying their little kids, watching people shooting at other people on the Israeli side, and watching and learning about the Holocaust and how the Jews were manipulated and killed and almost killed to almost genocide of extinction. That was the game plan. And so then I watch Israel bombing Palestine, and I'm going, I understand that you got to defend your land, and I understand that people don't really want to move. So I told my wife, I said, how big Palestine is. Or the Gaza. Let's just say Gaza itself. It's 7.5 miles wide and 25 miles long. Okay. So if you think about it, that's like from here to Powell. Okay. That's like from here to the east side, from where I live in Dublin. That's not really big. So, and then from here to London, Ohio is kind of the length between here, the 25-mile gap. Okay. So 7.5, that would go into like east side or Powell. And then 25 miles is almost going to London, Ohio. So for those of you who want to give a point of reference to how big Gaza is, we're asking people to move to one side of Gaza so they can do their business. It's hard to move that many people that fast. It's like, you ever walk to London, Ohio? I've biked to London, Ohio. It's not easy. It takes a while on a bike. And just let alone little children and people. And then when you don't have water and you don't have any food or anything, the humanitarian need for people who are in war need to be taken care of. Hamas and Israel can just go out all they want. I don't care. That's their business. They got to figure it out. But the civilians on both sides, on the Israeli side and on the Gaza side, they need attention. They need attention. If anybody understands that, it hurts me to watch people say, fuck them. I've heard this. Fuck those people. I'm like, these are kids, man. These are little babies. These are little children. The Israelis are also getting hit with rockets constantly. So this is just a shit show. This is a shit show. And it's terrible. I may get flack for talking out and don't sound like I'm all pro-Israel or pro-Palestine. I'm not pro anybody. I'm pro-humanity. You know, what can we do to fix shit versus trying to destroy everything? We've already been destructive enough in the human cycle of life. We've already know what happens when the stronger the the stronger gun has the power. You know, we've seen it. We've learned. Now, I understand that different times Palestine has rejected certain things and certain agreements and accords because, you know, and rightfully so, they have their reasons why. Because there's a lot of history, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind it. So I'm kind of more, almost like a lot of people. I'm a little confused about everything. I'm a little distraught about everything. I want to support my Palestinian friends, my Jewish friends, my Arab friends, you know. I don't want to ever be portrayed that I'm picking one side over the other. I'm trying to figure out how humans can be humans and treat humans like humans without getting the rhetoric of biblical or religious in the middle of it. And, you know, I know that it's not going to be an easy road. I can see now, I've been watching, you know, some of the news and I've seen in colleges where they've just been clashing. You know, the Jewish people feel threatened. They don't feel safe, and rightfully so. And then the Palestinians are chanting slogans that means, you know, destruction of the Jewish people. I mean, that's what I understand. That's the part I understand. Because I've never been in this situation. I've never been in this type of stuff. The only history I know is the history that was taught to me about my parents about how Europeans came and conquered the indigenous people of this land. And how Indians were put on reservations, kind of like, just like open prisons, right? Like Gaza, I guess that's what people call it. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's just a political thing, I'm not sure. But we have reservations here where people who used to own this land are no longer in charge of these lands. They've been pushed into these corners. And so I can see similarities and differences. And, you know, I just pray. I'm praying every day in ceremony that there's a peaceful resolution to all this, because, you know, the loss of life can never come back. The people who were in the concert, you know, enjoying themselves, and the Hamas, you know, came across and blew through that fence and then started shooting people. Those people are like you and me. They woke up one day and they were just enjoying the day, and they're gone. In the same token, you know that Israel's going to respond to that. No fool in the world does not know that, that you have to be dumb if you think that Israel wasn't going to respond to that. Of course Israel's going to respond, because Israel feels like they've been threatened. They have been threatened. And then you look at the other side. These poor innocent people who have no way to defend themselves or protect themselves because of this group of Hamas that says they're going to defend them. And then they have nowhere to go, and then they get bombed, then they get their waters cut off, and then they have no humanitarian aid. So it's a mess, man. It's a mess. And the only reason I share my thoughts is because I have to share. Because right or wrong, right if I'm right, I'm not here to prove myself right or wrong. I'm here to prove that humanity needs to do better. You know, I need to do better. You need to do better. We all need to do better. You know, I watch how we treat people in this country. I watch how my family was treated in this country. You know, I watched growing up. I remember how I was treated. So, you know, I still get treated bad sometimes because I'm different. I brush it off, ignore it sometimes. You may not see it, but I notice it. I see it and I feel it. I can't imagine what people are going through right now. They were doing their thing, like you and me. We're going to the mall, we're going to the store, and then all of a sudden, our lives are turned upside down. Never to be the same ever again. Never. You know, never. I hate to be like, well, I can't lean too much this way or lean that way, because, I see both sides of the side. I see both sides, and it's really heartbreaking. So, anyways, you guys do the best you can. I'm gonna do the best I can and decipher the information the best I can. Navigate through this time of uncertainty with what's happening in the world. We already went through a lockdown. We went through a hard time trying to get through that. And now here we are on the verge of who knows what. People have talked about World War II, World War III, World War I comparison. World War III, if there's going to be one, it's not going to be like any of those other wars. I feel bad for my son-in-law who's in the Navy, but, he dedicated his life to the Navy. And some of the things that, he hears and the things that he's told me, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I will say, this is my country. America's my country. I became a citizen because I believe in America, because my parents believed in America, and that's why I'm here. And that's why I defend it. I get it. Our politicians aren't always going to be perfect. If I know that, then I don't have nothing to let me down. If I think my politicians are going to be perfect, then I'm a fool. There's no such thing as a great president. There's no such thing as a great politician, a great Democrat or Republican, or, congressman or senator or mayor. They're just people. They're like you. They have to make decisions. And these decisions are based upon a lot of different things. Based upon party line, based upon who pays their campaign, how they contribute. So what you're watching here is just all the accumulation of all the things that have played out over the centuries since this country became a country. But anyhow, guys, I don't know. I'm just praying for peace, because if we don't have peace in this world, I'm not saying it has to be a perfect world, but it has to be. What can we do? Some of you be yelling, "Oh, tell Israel to do this," or others you be like, "Oh, tell Hamas not to do that." That's the easy way out. It's more than that. Where were you when they were in need? Where were we when all these things were needed help? I know that some of you were always there. Some of you are just bandwagoners, just jumping on the next thing that's coming along. It's just like sports, man. If my Buckeyes are winning, everybody, oh yeah. But if they're losing, fire the coach, fire the coach. It kind of has the same feel, But we're dealing with lives here. We're dealing with human life. Human life. And you know what? I don't see it getting any better right now until all humanity says that we need to figure out a better solution for this. And this is on both sides. Both sides of this conflict need to decide what's best for their people. Because right now, it's not the best for their people. I've watched the Russian news. I've watched Al Jazeera. I watched Fox. I watched CNN, MSNBC. I watched them all because, I want to get different perspectives, how other people see the world. If I just see the world from one lens, then I don't understand the world. I only understand the world that I project onto. But if I can understand how the other person's feeling about it and how they're navigating through it, then I can also understand maybe why they feel the way they do. But if I only see one angle, one little pinhole of the world, then I really don't know the world. Other people are laughing at me because I watch all these different outlets, but you know what? You have to learn. It's like learning how to just do math, but you don't never learn how to read. You have to learn how to read because some parts of math require symbols and numbers in reading word problems. Same thing. Sometimes we have to dab into the other world to see how the other side thinks, to understand the other side. Is that truly how they think? No, that's just how they promote. That's how they're projecting onto us. And both sides. I don't believe any of these suckers. Because everything's pro this, or pro that, and pro this, and pro that. I have to disseminate and articulate and move through that energy and go, okay, what am I looking at? Because if I don't, then I'm just blinded. I'm blinded by my own stupidity. I'm blinded by my own rose-colored glasses. You know, to be just a rah-rah protester or bandwagoner is not going to do any good for me personally. Maybe it does you good. Maybe that's how you function. I don't function like that. I can't just jump on something and go, okay, this is what we're doing. Because it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for a lot of people. But a lot of people feel like they have to be sometimes. And that's what's wrong. That's the bad part. That's the sad part. That you don't have to be like that. So guys, do your best. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's just try to stay in a good frame of mind. Let's see the world how we want to see it. But a lot of people are seeing the world in a way that is ugly. I still see the beauty in the world. Even through all this ugliness that's happening, there's still beauty. You know, I remember when we were in Iraq, and when we were attacking Iraq, when we were there, no one gave a damn. Not that I'm aware of. I don't remember protests in the streets. Oh, that's in Iraq. Let's get the Shah. You know, let's get Saddam Hussein out. I don't remember anybody going, let's save the Iraqis. I don't remember anybody. Why? Because we blame them for something that happened to us. We blame them for that they were in connection and cahoots for bombing the World Trade Center. We forget about all this stuff. You know? I don't know. I'm going to stop right there because part of me is getting upset. Part of me is getting sad. Part of me is getting frustrated because I see the double standard on all the sides. I see, how it's conveniently weak. You guys have a great evening. I think I said that 3 times now. This is the 3rd time, so I definitely have to cut off. All right. Peace and love, guys. Mind of Iggy. Just sharing my thoughts. Doesn't make them right or wrong. They're just my thoughts.